Alright, hello again. Let's start with the hair. I gave everything a nice little texture so it looks better. And now we can work on the hair. So just take a nice little sphere and subdivide it so it can be smoother and have more vertices. And then start roughly outlining the hair, the overall shape. And we'll make it look better in a second, but just get the basic stuff right where the hair would be. And it's going to be really easy. Just follow along, and in a couple of minutes we'll have good looking hair on our Macs. So yeah, let's just fix this. The sideburns, tuck it behind the ears, back of the neck. Overall volume looks okay. Let's smooth it out. And now we're gonna do something cool. We're gonna add a texture and we're gonna add distorted noise. Now this needs more detail, so I'm gonna subdivide one more time. And now we're gonna do the crease brush with the distorted noise texture applied. And as you can see, it's making it look like curly hair once we do it enough. Now it's not done yet. You could stop here because we're going to print it at a pretty small size. So it's going to look pretty realistic as hair at this size. But we can make it look even better and more rough like an image. So now we're going to switch to marble and do some, add some geometry to make it look like there's strands of hair popping out. And once we do this, to make it even better, we're going to drag some of this hair outside to make it look like strands of hair that are, roughly cut and just extrude from random directions. So pretty much drag in certain places, still with the texture. So it's going to drag smaller and smaller bits and make it look like hair. And it's that simple. It barely took us a couple of minutes. And you have pretty good looking hair. Once it prints out, it's gonna look fantastic. Now, if you were going for a video game or an animation, you would probably use completely different techniques to make hair. But since we want it for a print model, this works wonders and it's really fast. Now smooth out some edges, get rid of the texture and make a little rougher cuts. And yeah, there we go, there's the hair done. Now we're going to use the hair to make the actual eyebrows, so just duplicate it after we paint it with some nice coloring to make it look like, better. Okay, now we're going to use the hair again to make the eyebrows. Just duplicate it and adjust the size and stretch it appropriately, and we have the eyebrows set. Now the eyebrows probably won't show when you print, it's going to be way too small, but depending on the size you print it at, it's good to have the eyebrows there. From a certain size up, it's going to start showing, it's going to be easier to paint them and look more realistic. So adjust it appropriately. If you can look at a close-up picture to make it better, I would recommend it. Right now I'm going off with that image on the background, which is pretty far away. But overall, they look kind of squared off. Typical male eyebrows. Nothing crazy. So we just drag around a little bit and there we go. Okay, now that we have this, we need to parent it to the skeleton. So again, select the skeleton in edit mode, select the bone which you're going to parent it at, and then we select the hair, shift select the skeleton, parent to bone. Do the same for the eyebrows. And now when we move this specific bone in pose mode, or all the bones beneath there, the whole thing's going to move. So as you can see, the head moves with the eyebrows and it's good. Now the jacket gets a little bit dragged. We could fix this, but now we're pretty much done with the model, so we're just gonna do it. It's gonna mess up the jacket a little bit, but we're gonna fix it with a smooth brush and not bother with weight painting right now, because I don't think it's worth it. So just touch it up a little bit, fix it, and it's like it never happened. Okay, go around, smooth it out. Just make sure you touch up everything that moved. There we go. Yeah, okay, pretty much perfect again. Nice. Let's drag this a little bit upwards because it made it smaller. Cool. I think Max is pretty much ready. We just need to add some eyes so that he doesn't look like this, like a fucking zombie. Now, it would have been smarter to add the eyes before we move the head, but mistakes happen and you gotta roll with them to save time. So just make one eye, and you will just have to do it twice when we adjust the eyelids. So now what we can do to be cooler for presentation, we can separate the circles to make the eye and the pupil and the white. So we just add different textures to the parts we separated. That way we can have a pretty good looking eye. And then we connect all the geometry again with join, and on edit mode select all the faces, click M to merge by distance. It's going to connect everything back together and your eye will print and you'll have a cooler eye for presentation. So let's go ahead and subdivide it to make it look smoother. And yeah, before we do that, let's do what I said with merging. So select everything, merge by distance, and now as you can see it's back again connected. So now we subdivide, make it look smoother like a real eye, and position it where it should be. Just eyeball it. If you don't have a lot of experience with human anatomy, always have a picture up on the side of where everything should be roughly, eyes, noses, mouths, ears and all that, so you can adjust. Now I've made a lot of faces and bodies in general, so I can kinda do it without a reference. It's by no means perfect, but it's serviceable, at least for miniatures that you print at smaller size. It's serviceable. I wouldn't dream of making a video game character right now with actual facial features that are animated. But for printing models, it's a whole different game, and this looks pretty good, I think. It might look a little fake and cartoonish, that's because of the texture. Once you actually print it and paint it with actual paint, it'll look way better. And I just realized we haven't added gloves to Max. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, like with the pants, like with every other thing, like the boots, we're just going to select a part of the hand, duplicate it, and separate it from the rest of the mesh. Right here I was confused. I actually started sizing up before I separated the mesh. It messed it up. But you shouldn't do that. You should just begin by duplicating and separating the mesh. Then we're going to start messing with it. So some of the gloves are the fingers are cut off, so we're just randomly gonna cut off some of the fingers. Here I realize I messed up, so I have to undo it. While I fix this, let's just talk about how easy it is to make clothing using this method. It's not the best method, but it's gonna speed up your process way too much, especially when we have clothes that fit the physique perfectly, like a shirt, gloves, boots. Like when you make a jacket, you obviously need a larger thing with different geometry, but when you have fitting clothes, this is the best technique I found, and I've tried many techniques. This works just so fast and gets the job done. So yeah, back to cutting off the fingers for the gloves. Cutting them off, we dissolve them actually, so it's already closed off the geometry and it can print perfectly. So we unhide the body, and now we go into sculpt mode, and we're actually going to blob the entire glove out, just make it bigger than the hand so that it looks like an actual glove. Let's give it a better texture so it doesn't look weird. Okay, and then with a smooth brush, we're gonna get rid of the hand detail, because gloves are made of leather, they have different detail, which we're going to add in a second. And overall, we are already pretty much done with the glove. We're gonna add some creases and make it look more leathery and wrinkly, but this is all you need to do really. It's just so simple. And it saved me so much time once I actually figured this way out. Alright, add some creases, pinch them, make it look like it's made of leather. Already looks way better. And yeah, you can mess around with it as long as you want. Make it look as detailed as possible. I go about midway till it looks good enough, and we can move on to the next thing. Get rid of this loose geometry here. That was from my mistake before. You don't need to worry about that if you did it properly. Okay, and we have one more glove to make. Exactly the same technique. I'm just gonna cut off different fingers this time, just for variety. But it's basically identical. So, see you in a couple of seconds. Okay guys, so this is Max ready for printing. We have done everything. I hope you like the model. It didn't take too long, but it took some time. So if you like it, please subscribe and like the video, share it with anyone. And if you actually try and make your own, please comment below with your results. I'll be uploading the finished print once it's ready, and we will be ready to move on the next project, which I'm still deciding. You'll find out in a short probably. So thanks for watching and have a good one.